The Pinball Network is online. Launching.
Triple Drain Pinball Podcast.
All right, Tom. Oh no.
Oh, he already
Oh
messed
no.
up.
Tom's not here. Tom's not here. Tom is not here, but it's okay. We're gonna work through this. We're gonna be strong. So I'll go to the next best person. Greg. Greg, are you ready for this? Are you ready?
I'm ready,
Triple
man.
Drain? Good.
I wanted to
wonderful.
come on the show for a long time.
Well, here you go. Here's the day. And I'll ask the guy who I think resents being on this show every episode. Travis, are you ready for this?
I'm very happy to be here. Now it feels like I'm part of Straight Down the Middle. So, we're like trending way up. So I'm very happy about this.
Well,
Good
see,
job,
I'm happy
Joel.
about you. That's why I had to I was going to fix my hair, but I was like, nope, I got to wear a hat today.
There we go.
Got to channel my inner Travis.
Hey,
Perfect.
I appreciate it. I mean, but if you really wanted to, you got to shave the beard, though.
Oh,
I can't
I
grow
can't.
a beard,
No.
so.
No,
No.
I'm
You
horrible
look-
without a beard. I got to have
You
a
look
beard.
beautiful, though. You look
Thank you.
gorgeous, Joel. just roll it. Just
Okay.
roll it, Joel.
Here's that intro song.
We're three guys who like to talk pinball, so we came up with a clever name. We're Joel and Travis Down who talk pinball, and we call ourselves Triple Drain, Triple Drain, Triple Drain. We're Triple Drain.
I mean, Greg, does that just get you pumped up? I mean,
I was hyped the whole time.
It's perfect. Well, Travis, I feel like you're just going to make bone jokes the whole time. You know, we're entering the bone zone. What else you got? You're ready to...
I said that in pre-production.
Yeah.
That's all you. You got
No,
the
you said
first
that.
bone
You
joke.
said that in the Facebook message group too. I think it was the first chat.
Yep.
I woke up
also
to a
not part
message
of the
this morning. It
podcast.
was like, yeah, I was wondering what time we were starting the Bone Zone.
You've heard that your whole life, haven't you, Greg? I mean,
Yes,
what a
every
great
day.
last name. What a
It actually,
great
like
last name.
through some of my life, like, obviously in school, there's the boner jokes and you get all the bone stuff.
Mm.
And then there was just like a hiatus in my 20s where that I didn't get any of that. And now in my late 30s, 40,
Yeah.
like
Pinball.
friends and people have brought it back for some reason.
Well, at least
I
they're
mean,
still
that's-
friends, right?
That's what
Yeah.
happens, though. You get to your late 30s, early 40s. It's almost like you devolve to like your
Yes.
20s, but yet you actually are like financially secure. You've
Yes.
got like a little bit more knowledge.
Yep.
And Joel, you're young, right? You're
I'm
like
still in my 30s. Yep.
you're like 36,
there's-
35. How old are you, Joel?
I'm
I never
35.
asked.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
you
so
got
you
some
got-
time
you got-
before you hit this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're getting closer. You're getting closer.
I'm getting there. Yeah. What am I? I'm looking at Travis's background. I feel like every week he adds something new. You got
don't
the
think
Iron
Anything
Man
changed.
gauntlet. I
Oh
don't
yeah,
think
my
that was
son. My son put that up.
It. Oh.
Yep.
Okay.
Nothing else changed. We're still trying to move, so I'm not like
Yeah.
not trying to do all this. I know I need a pinball machine behind
So you
me.
bought a house and you didn't use Greg as your realtor, is what I'm hearing.
Well, he
True.
went to, you
You
were,
need to come to St. Louis, Greg.
yep.
Like
what
that's the
I'm
only way
saying.
to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm just getting licensed in St. Louis just so I can help you
just
Yeah,
for that one
exactly.
house. Yeah.
Totally worth it. Yeah.
Yeah. What else we got in the background? We got the bonehead lights. I see that in Greg's background.
Oh,
Greg, I feel
yes.
like you
Woo.
patented that. Shout out to Comet Pinball, right? Comet Pinball
Oh, amazing.
with their little light, and I feel like you put that all together, and then they call it the bonehead. You got a little
Yeah,
shout
they
out
were
on their
just like,
website?
you know what? Hey, we're going to use this because we like the photos and we like what it does. And it's super, like, to me, it's like the cheapest, best mod that you can do. And I like it a
Yeah.
little bit in the undercab light. I mean, why you want to light up your floor? Light up your wall where everybody's
Mhm.
looking. Look behind
Yeah.
the heads. It's no brainer.
That's
I feel-
bloody brilliant right there.
I feel like that's a great transition to show off that in my background. Boom, the Godzilla Topper. It is
Yes.
here. It is present. I know. Well, we'll get. Wow, we can just dive.
We
right
just
into
need
it
to
right
go
now. We'll
straight
just dive
into
right
it,
into
Joel.
right
Stop teasing the audience. Let's
So
just
here's
go.
the deal with Tom not here. The reason Tom's not here is he's still in Europe. So Travis and Tom both competed in the IFPA World Championship for last year over in Europe. So that was in Germany. And that's all we're going to talk about it because we're going to save that for Tom. There was a lot of competitive pinball. There was also some European something. There was the Epstein Cup, which is like US versus Europe or North America versus Europe. I don't know exactly how they do it, but there's a lot. There's a whole lot of tournament pinball played over there. And then Tom is still there with his family. They're on like a European vacation. So I'm assuming he is probably on the beach in a Speedo as we speak. would be a little late. But
It's pretty close, actually.
yeah, that would be Tom. So Tom will be back, and we will make sure we'll dive all into that goodness when he gets back. So we were thinking we still want to do an episode. It's been a little while. We can't talk tournaments. So we start going through the list of like all the people we've had on, and we're like, who do we know that doesn't like tournaments? And to be honest, the first person I thought of was Zach Minnie. So I thought of Zach Minnie, and I was like, people are sick of Zach. You know what people love? They love Greg. So let's get Greg Bone on here. The better half is straight down the middle.
It's an unfair statement to say that I don't like tournaments. I actually love tournaments.
Okay.
I'm not Zach. I love tournaments. I just don't know enough about them, nor do I take the time to go out and play in them. But I love them.
That's fair.
Greg,
I used to play a little bit.
I gotta apologize for Joel. He's like a tournament snob now. He took 89 at Cleveland. He has like 0.85 whoppers. So I mean, I'm sorry. I'm just gonna let you know ahead of time. The rest of us tournament players, we do not look down on the people that don't play tournaments.
I know Joel's just like automatically like, oh, Greg don't play tournaments, so Greg must hate tournaments. Greg's an outsider.
Well, I just didn't want people to like try to slip in some tournament talk here.
This Joel guy, you know? My God.
Be like, oh, because we know tournament talk. Tom's not here. We're not gonna, So we wanted to go with, somebody we knew wasn't gonna slip into that, and you fit the bill. So thank you, Greg.
No worries there. No worries there.
So the goal here, there hasn't been any crazy game release. Well, there is one. What is the Hexa Pinball, the Space Hunt?
Is it Space Hunt or Super Hunt? Space Hunt.
Space Hunt.
They're competing against space tanks. It's the year of space.
I don't know if you guys have any initial impressions. So Greg does work for Flippin' Out. Obviously, Zach and Nicole run that company, and Greg, you do I don't know what your title is, tech support or just.
Yeah, warranty tech. Yeah.
Okay. So I think Zach has reached out to that company. It's a French-based company to probably talk distributorship. But I don't think that's happening. I think they said something along the lines of like, we're going to stay within the country. I don't know. So I'm guessing you're not going to be involved in Hexa Pinball's Space Hunt reveal.
I don't know
release.
Yet. Like we hadn't really discussed it. Like I was actually over there yesterday. I drove down to his house. Family's all out of town, so I usually try to make it all about pinball and just a good time, take advantage of it. So I drove down there, and he briefly brought it up, but we didn't really go into any details about what their discussions were or whether we were going to or not be carrying those.
Okay, got it. Well, hopefully you like Bright Pink. Because that game, to be honest, I love TNA. I love Total Nuclear Annihilation and the color palette of that. Pinks, purples, bright greens. Yes. So to be honest, the color palette, like I'm okay with. My daughter would freaking love it. Bright pink. I think it's cool looking or beautiful looking game. But I don't know. My view, at least on brand new manufacturers, it's just the bar is put so high by these other companies that if I only have X amount of money, you've got to do something ungodly to justify, well,
because you don't want to take the risk. Like you said, you've only got so much money. So why, like you kind of want a safer bet. You don't want that long shot, to waste your money on. And you're like, oh, okay. I was going to get one new pin this year. Now I've got a turd sitting here that doesn't work or that plays like crap.
And it's tough with these other, manufacturers. Stern is consistently good. JJP makes consistently good games, and then Spooky makes their games can be good. It's like even just those three alone, American. It's just you got so many great options here in North America, and I understand we have global listeners, so maybe there are people over in Europe that want to support somebody local. So I don't know. I'm just in a wait and see situation. There's a lot of question marks. It's an unlicensed theme, like always. The song is interesting to say the least, but I don't know. Maybe it's incredible. But maybe they'll ship you one, have you and Zach make a beautiful featurette for them, and it ends up being a lovely, lovely game. I don't know. Travis, I don't know. Is the pinball company's not buying any that you know of?
No, well, here's the thing. The three manufacturers that you listed off, right? Yeah. Stern, Jersey Jack, Spooky. Yeah. All three of them, what they're very good at this current time is getting themes. Yes. And more than anything, if you're a brand new business or you're a brand new startup, it's awfully hard to get footing in this industry if you're not bringing that to the table. because you're already bringing on a bunch of unknown variables. Like how fast are you going to get games manufactured? How fast are you going to ship out? What's the customer support afterwards? Who's designing? Who's doing software? What's going to be the updates? There's all these other things that are involved in it. And so for a casual player or for somebody that's just involved in pinball to the extent that they are, one of the first things they're going to look at is the theme. So if you're approaching this with the unlicensed theme and you understand what that variable is, I mean, that's more than often it's a strike against you, especially if it's overseas. I mean, it's got to be an extraordinary type of game like TNA, for instance, that people have. It's accessible to people to where they can readily play and they can see what it is. They can hear it. They can feel it. And it's awfully hard if you're overseas for at least the American buyer to sense that, unless there's just like a kick-ass promo video that puts it out there. That's why that is so damn important. Because I mean, just like the Godzilla Topper, prime example right there. There's a lot of people that were like on the fence until Zach put out his promo, and then everybody's like, "Oh, okay, this looks legit. This looks cool." So, I mean, that's just the variable with it. It's not to say it's going to be a bad game or great game. Just simply don't know just because of those variables alone.
Yeah,
theme sells. I'm always a huge proponent. Theme sells. Like it is the big thing, because you can have a game that's good, just good. Doesn't have to be extraordinary, but it's got a theme that resonates with people and it elevates that game. Whereas you take it and you give an original theme to that good game, people are still not going to hardly buy it. You know, and I always just go back to Dialed In. How many Dialed In is a fantastic game, but you still just it moves along. You play it, moves along, or nobody wants to own it, and it comes down to the theme. And you know, the thing that you had with TNA was Scott Denisi had such a cult following that took years to evolve as he was building that game and took it around the shows and everything. You know, there was it sort of became a popular theme within the pinball community, even though it was an original theme. Yeah, it became its own theme that you resonated with and that you sort of knew because he had brought it around so much and there was so much hype around it. And it's hard to get that, especially 100%. Like you said, Travis, like overseas, you're not going to get that.
Yeah, and with some of these brand new companies too, even if you do have a killer theme, like Queen, for example, that's a killer theme, but there's still so many question marks of like, how are they going to build? What's the build quality? How's the software support? Is this going to do this and this and this? So it's, I don't know. I respect all these companies that are trying to get into the industry, trying to start something new, but man, that has to be just some ridiculous uphill battle that I don't envy. So
stressful. It's stressful running a business. I mean, especially if you're trying to break into a market. That is very stressful to do. So, I mean, props to people trying, and hopefully it works out.
I will say, and maybe this is unfair, but I was listening Don's Pinball Podcast. It's another podcast, and that guy, I haven't heard a ton of his stuff, but I was told that on his latest episode, he has the owner of Punny Factory, or the owner of I don't know, the Pinball Adventures, I think is the company. He had him on the episode, and I'm only gotten a little bit in. I haven't heard the whole thing. But that guy, the owner of Pinball Adventures, he made the comment. He said, because the question was something along the lines of like, congrats to you for finally actually, like, you have an idea and you're actually making games for customers. You're actually manufacturing games. And the guy said, well, believe it or not, manufacturing the games is the easiest part. And that's all I heard. I was like, what are you talking about? Like, that's what I thought. I everything else that I've heard, it's the exact opposite. Thinking of a concept,
so what's
designing
the
a
part?
Game, making one. I don't know. I just heard him say, well, manufacturing the game's the easiest part. It's like, what? Like, that's where every other company is stuck, right? I mean, you look at Haggis. Like, Haggis has a beautiful game, these Fathoms, and they are taking years to make them. Like, it's not the design that's hard. Like, I mean, it's the manufacturing that's the hard part, right?
That goes into the variable part again, though. I mean, if you're manufacturing at scale, then it's highly difficult because you got to get so many products out. If you're not manufacturing to scale, you only have to make a few every now and again. I mean, maybe
that's it. Pinball Adventures, maybe they're making 20 or less. So
it's hard to tell.
I don't know.
Let's just put it this way: if whatever you come out with outpaces, right? Like the demand totally outpaces what you're able to put out. Guess what? That manufacturing is going to feel very difficult because you're leaving a lot of money on the table. You got pissed off customers. I mean, but if you can manufacture and outpace the demand, well, it's not going to seem near as hard because your back's not up against the wall to produce X number of games through a certain amount of time. You're just meeting an allocation point at that point.
Yeah. And I maybe that's a great transition because these two games cause that problem. So behind me, I have Godzilla and Foo Fighters, both of which I would assume way outperformed what Stern was expecting them to do. And here we are. I mean, Stern has changed their, shout out, Travis, you made this beautiful graphic for the pinball company the other day that shows the timeline, the manufacturing timeline, or the schedule for this year. I saw that. I was impressed. I was like, look, you actually do like quality work.
I do. Yeah. I do some work, I mean, like 18 minutes a day I clock in. So right now I've gotten 7 done so far. So I had to clock out for this, but yeah.
I think Greg puts in at least an hour for flipping out. I mean,
modeling takes like 8 hours a day. That's tough. That's hard.
What I will say is these two games, I mean, clearly outperformed what they were expecting. And so here's Stern kind of scrambling to like, how do we do it? How do we fit all these in? And we're still doing like, there are people that still don't have their Godzilla premiums and they ordered them a long time ago. Foo Fighters, it's like having to add more and more runs and shift things around. If we want to go to another manufacturer, I know CGC, obviously manufacturing all the Cactus Canyons. It's taking forever. That was announced in October. Not last year, but the year prior. Like we're approaching 2 years, and there are people that ordered them day one and still don't have them. So I mean, it's a good problem. It's a good problem to have, right? It's a good problem when you way outsell what you're expecting to do. It's a good problem to have. But we're seeing a lot of that. We're seeing a lot of that in this industry, and a lot of people waiting on games. And then you have other people that have games that they're trying to sell that I just feel like it's either one or the other, right? It's either a huge hit or manufacturers can't sell them, or distributors have a bunch and they're on the shelf and they're just sitting. It's one or the other.
Well, and I think sometimes with some of these you take some, you come off of a really big hit. Like, I can't imagine creating a really big game, something that just sells the hell out of games. And then how do you gauge your next pin? Like, do you scale down? Are you literally reflecting and thinking, okay, like, well, man, we killed it last time, we're going to kill it again, and then you ramp up manufacturing? Like, how do you even gauge that? When you're somebody like Punny Factory or you're a smaller company starting off, I feel like, you're just kind of building to demand. But, when you're a manufacturer that's become a little bit more established, like, how are you going to gauge that? How are you going to make those runs? So Stern's got a little more figured out because they can just throw old games back on the line and, start rebuilding, vault something real quick and throw it online and keep all their employees working. But, you take somebody like CGC or JJP or somebody, that's got to be like a super difficult thing to be able to try to gauge that next game and what that popularity is going to be, getting parts stocked up. You know what I'm saying? So you're kind of back and forth, if it's a big hit, oh man, we don't have games, they're going to trickle out. Or now we got a bunch of games because we anticipated it was going to be a big hit because of our last couple games, and now we're setting on stock, and what do we do? So like, I'm like you guys, like, I don't envy that at all.
Yeah, and you look at Stern, I mean, I would assume, maybe this is, I would assume that James Bond is not as selling as well as they assumed. So instead of these runs, it's like all of a sudden, what do they have? They got more Godzillas they can make. They have Iron Maidens they can make. They have Jurassic Park premiums they can make. It's just like, it's clearly, Stern has things figured out there where they can pull from the back catalog at any moment, and their line has been packed for years now. I mean, it's nonstop.
Well, it's definitely hitting a moving target too. No, you're fine, Greg. It's just what I'm saying is it's like hitting a moving target when you're trying to determine how many games you need to produce, how much can this move, what's going to be the velocity of sell. Because it's like anything else. Their LEs are going to absolutely sell out every single time because it's going to go to all the dealers and distributors, and we're going to be able to sell it out. Now it becomes, is the pros and the premiums, how well are those going to sell? That's the tough part right there. And that's what we're seeing with Bond. Right now. I mean, it's awfully hard to get games moving that's kind of set up like Bond is currently.
Well, and I think Bond, so I think, there was, a decently recent code update. I think Bond to me is going, just because I actually like the way it shoots. I know it's gotten a lot of flack. I know that, the code early on obviously was a lot behind it, but I think it's going to be another rush. I think that, any of us distributors or anybody that has a game sitting, I think those games are going to sell. I think that they're going to have to throw it back on the line again, because I do think that it's going to, over the next year, creep up as like this kind of sleeper, especially if there's a lull or there's a miss. If they come out with something like Venom or any rumored titles that come out and it doesn't do as well as they think, people are going to take that money and go somewhere else with it. And I think it's going to be to a game like that. It's like, oh man, I've got some time on that game. I really liked it. Let me try it out. I've done that with games before, and I really think that's going to be kind of another sleeper, that comes up.
Well, I would say as of right now, every other game in Stern's catalog is basically a complete game. Even though Foo Fighters isn't 1.0, that's a complete game. So it's hard to, I mean, Bond is getting there, but a month or two back, it's just like, well, if you have money to buy something brand new, it's like, do you want to play the game of Bond and hope the code involved, becomes what you want it to be? Or do you just get one that's basically amazing right out of the box? Like
Bond is kind of going through this weird time right now. So one of the things that you can do to kind of get a glimpse of if a game's going to be a decent seller or not, it's basically 3 variables are involved in it. It's going to be theme. It's going to be, is the layout dynamic looking? Meaning, like, does it just look fun to shoot? And how's the artwork? Like, those 3 things are really going to be the very beginning of whether or not it catches people's eyes, because nobody can really gauge what the code is going to be, but the code will help it get past that first few months. So if the code is there after the first run and people realize it, that's when the popularity really starts to go up from there. And that's what we saw with Godzilla. That's what you're seeing with Foo Fighters. I mean, because it's huge out of the gate, right? And then it just feels like it just keeps going. So if you don't have those 3 variables in place or something's off, it definitely gives people cause to pause. Yeah. And that's kind of what we saw with Bond. I mean, it was a theme that maybe not everybody, felt like it was a good theme for them just because it's a little bit older theme. I know the artwork, there was a lot of people that weren't pleased with the artwork, even though that technically was the assets from the theme, right? So I think that those 2 things just go together, that if you're not into the theme, you're probably not going to be into the artwork either. So it's kind of like a 2-for-1 deal. And so when you put those into that variable, right, then the code has to be like really good just to keep it going at that point.
Well, Godzilla, for example, I mean, who really cared? I mean, Godzilla's amazing artwork, so it had that. But I mean, who the hell really cared about Godzilla, really? Like, there was a handful of people, nobody cared. But because it was such an incredibly coded game and it shot so well, it was like, I don't care, it's Godzilla. Like, I love Godzilla now, Yeah. And I think Iron Maiden, I think there's been pins that's done it in the past too. Like Iron Maiden, like I think that there wasn't, I mean, there's a lot of Iron Maiden fans. It's a big base. They're a very well-known band. But I think a lot of people were like, I don't care about Iron Maiden. I don't care. And then they played it and they're like, I got to have Iron Maiden. Oh, yeah. It's like, I'm a fan now. Like, in there. So
Godzilla is 100% that. And I think it's hilarious. I did not care about Godzilla in any way before. And I remember when they announced the game, I was like, nah. It's like, it's not a turn off. Like, well, this is probably a terrible example, but like Elvira, it's not a turn off, but it's, I can't justify, like, that's a theme I can't have in my house. So it's like an immediate, like, oh crap. Like, and Walking Dead's another situation. I can't have that game in my house with little kids. It's not a theme like that. Like, it's not a turn off in that way, but Godzilla, it shows up and I'm like, this is, not only is it an amazing game, but it's so funny and campy and actually, like, my kids love it. And to the point where Godzilla has actually talked about as a joke, or like the song, the Blue Oyster Cult song, like my son, a 3-year-old, requests it. He thinks it's a funny song. Like, it's almost like I've become an actual legitimate Godzilla fan.
Well, they went the right direction with it.
Oh yeah.
If they did the current Godzilla,
it's like serious,
it wouldn't be near as well received as it is now. It'd still be popular because it's an Elwyn and the layout and the rules are great, but it wouldn't get the universal praise it does now, just based on that alone. Like, that theme really does help carry it a little bit, and the fact that they leaned into the campiness, that carries it even more. I mean, that was a brilliant decision by Stern to do that.
And you said universal praise. So perfect transition to the Topper. Universally loved by everyone that's seen it. The Topper is here. So let's be real. Let's be honest. First impressions. When you guys saw the Topper, what was your legitimate first impression?
You take
it first, saw Travis. The 2 seconds of Stern's video.
Oh, no.
That was, I audibly said, oh no. So I audibly said that. Go ahead.
It's a weird spot. It's like, okay, there's so many Godzillas that are out there.
Yes.
We figured the Topper's going to sell no matter what. So it's not an opinion of whether or not they're going to sell or not. It'll sell. I mean, they could put like a little 2-inch figurine Godzilla in there and it would sell. My concern is that just the video that they put out with all the accessories, I was very confused how they just kind of slapped that towards the end.
And it was very brief. There was almost nothing.
Yeah, and we actually timed it just to see, because I watched it probably like 10 times because I was so confused. I'm like, what does this topper do? Is there supposed to be a mode with it? Like, what's going on? You had no indication.
I think you said there was more footage of people flipping of their hands than there were nearly, of the topper.
There was nearly double the footage of hands on the flippers and the topper. And I'm like, what is happening here? So I was very confused, and I was talking to, the people within our company. I'm like, are they coming out with another trailer here, or is this it? And so we just kind of just felt like, okay, well, this is it. So let's just cross our fingers and hope Zach comes out with the video, because I figured he would look at that and he'd be like, no, I can't stand for this. And luckily Zach came through with flying colors, because you just really didn't get an indication what this topper looks like. And from everybody that has seen it now in person, they're like, okay, it looks totally different.
Yeah.
And it's really good for what it is. I mean, nobody's saying it's great like Black Knight or something like that. And that's fine. It doesn't have to be.
But you're not turned off. Like, you're not like, I can't buy that.
Turned off. Perfect timing. Travis's camera turns off. Wow.
Damn the powers of the bone.
Man, the script writing in this episode is fantastic. We are on it. we are. Go ahead. So, Greg, you saw it. What did you think when you saw it?
Same thing. I was kind of like, I don't know about that. Then I saw Zach's video and I was like, okay, that's great, man. Like, I won't say great. It's really good. His video was great. The topper's good. And then yesterday he had it and I got to see it in person, and it's a lot better in person. The buildings look good, and stuff on there. I would have went a different direction, I guess.
Sure.
But like, I'm not mad at it. The things that I would probably want would probably be too difficult to do or not cost effective. And that's one thing I like about it too, is it's a pretty cool topper, and it's a bit cheaper than what we went with Mandalorian and everything else. So, it's kind of refreshing to see a good topper, but a hell of a lot cheaper.
Yeah. Well, it's funny that it's funny that $1,000 is something to be excited about, right? Like that it's cheaper, but, and full disclaimer here, toppers are expensive.
Yes.
And they're 100%. There are thousands of better things to spend $1,000 on. So many better things. So we're not
golf carts.
Like we're not
like golf carts.
So we're not going to sit here and argue whether or not buying the topper is a good decision. The answer is no. But buying a pinball machine is probably not a good decision either. But we understand this is an expensive hobby. So yes, I am grateful though that it's $1,000 topper, not a $2,000 topper. I agree with you on that. When I saw the video, like I said, I literally said out loud, "Oh no!" Like that was it. Like it was a disappointing, like, oh. And then the video's over. We're like, that's it. So I'm like scouring, looking at Stern's. Like there was nothing. There was no info. And so what do? You go to Pinside, and pages and pages of people just ripping it apart. I mean, I love the laughter at the zip tie. I mean, just tearing it apart. So here I am trying to be optimistic. And I will say that after Zach put out his video, and then I had a chance to stream it the other day, Pinside's gotten really quiet. Pinside's gotten really quiet when you actually provide quality, video showing what the topper can do.
Well, it's providing context to the product too.
Yes.
Because there was zero context provided in it.
And then the other thing that you actually pointed out to me, Travis, which it wasn't mentioned at all in the video, was the exclusive mode. Like, there's an exclusive mode to the game, and it's not. It was briefly mentioned in Stern's press release, and that's it. And so it's like there's value to that mode, but at the same time, I also know you say exclusive mode to some people, and they're like DLC, and they freak out. But I'm paying for something that's
just part of society anymore. You got a console game, you got a PC game, you got DLC. You got those little mobile games on your phone, you got DLC. So,
and again, as long as I'm not missing something from it, like from the game itself, which no one can argue that there's anything at all missing from Godzilla, really. Like, sure, I'm fine with something buying a topper for an extra mode or something special that they put a little extra time into, or that was an afterthought. I'm completely good with that in that context.
Sure. And I know some of the other DLC modes, right? Where like Jurassic Park had Goat Mania, and everybody's like, nobody needs that. Like, and I forget, there was something else, and people they brushed it off. And then to the surprise though, later on, Insider Connect did bring those modes. So like now everybody has, if you have Insider Connect, you have access to that mode. So so some people are holding out on that. They're like, well, I assume down the road, Stern will just give it to everybody. I don't know. I don't know. But what I will say is I have it. I have it on my game. I was super grateful. Keith Elwin, Rick Nagel, and George Gomez, they made it happen where I had actually reached out to Keith. I said, hey, I'm going to get one of the toppers in on Tuesday. I'm going to stream the game on Wednesday. Just I want to show it off. Is the new mode in the game? And he said, no. And I was like, oh, bummer. No worries. And he goes, let me see if I can get you beta code. I'm like, okay. And Rick was literally coding it. He was making some adjustments to it on Wednesday. I got it. I got access to the code like 3 hours before the stream and updated my game. So I have access to the beta code. What the beta code is, and this will be released, but if you have the topper, you get access to King of the Monsters Time Attack. So King of the Monsters, correct me if I'm wrong, Travis, you've probably actually been there in the game. King of the Monsters is the very end of the game, right?
Yes.
So you get
it has
through
2 stages to it. You got to fight all the monsters.
Okay, it's only 2 stages. There isn't any more.
I think at least there's only 2 stages I've seen. Because I don't know.
I haven't made it past stage 2, so I don't know. I don't know if I would actually end it or not. But the question is, so how do you actually get to King of the Monsters in the game? You have to get all the way to Planet X and then beat Planet X, or you don't know, or is it?
I think there's no idea.
I think there's a lot of things you have to do.
I'll be honest. I have actually never been there. I've seen it, but I've never been there.
Murie, top 25 player in the world.
Mm-hmm.
There's a mode in Godzilla that you have not achieved.
I have not seen it. No, I played Planet X, but I've heard of King of the Monsters.
So here's
played
the
it
deal.
Before I have, Joel.
So what I will tell you though is the mode is fantastic. Like it is really, really good. And my thought is, if Keith has put forth that much time to make this incredible wizard mode, and Rick Nagel has coded this incredible wizard mode, but yet no one's gonna see it. Mm-hmm. No one's gonna see it. I'm really glad they've given us the ability to do it. In a perfect world, they'd give it to everybody, right? I will say when I have turtles, it's at my parents' house, but Half Shell Challenge. Half Shell Challenge is a mode that you can just go right to, and it is a blast. It's a time mode. It's genuinely one of my favorite things about that game. And that's where that's all I've played. That's all I've played on Godzilla the last few days, is coming down here. And there's something mentally about knowing you have this kind of bite-size thing. I'm only doing this, and that's it. You're not going to get locked into a 45-minute game. It gives you 5 minutes when you start. And to get through the first phase, your time is counting down, and then it gives you a little more time when you get to the second phase. And whatever time you have left from the first time, that's it. That's all you have to do the second phase. And I've run out of time every time. I've yet to beat the second phase. So, but it's awesome. It's definitely a draws you in one more game. So I'm just amazed. The mode is fantastic, but nobody's talking about it. Like nobody talked about it in the press release. Nobody looks at that as a selling point. To me, it's absolutely a selling point. I would tell you right now, if you took the topper off, I would miss the mode more than I'd miss the topper. And that says nothing bad about the topper. But yeah, overall, the light integration, I'm actually very impressed by. You can see the stream on Flipping Out. There's also a video showing it. And then to be honest, though, I will take the Godzilla figure off and I will replace it with another one. That's what I did in my game. We actually bought this really cool figure. My brother painted it. It looks awesome. But as soon as I saw the topper, I was like, okay, I'm going to move Jared's figure up to the topper. And then I want to get Stumbler's, the Atomic Godzilla mod, which came out after I got that figure. But I looked and that thing's discontinued right now. So I'm on a waiting list to see if I could potentially get it. But I think once I swap that out, then I'm good. I will say the Mechagodzilla's eyes light up. You don't see that in the video. And Gigan's eyes light up. Like it's there's actually a lot of really cool little nuances to the topper. So I think it'll be a topper that people will grow to love. But I do think Stern kind of shot themselves in the foot with their release, because that 2-second video of it wasn't great. I don't know.
It was just confusing. If you were somebody that didn't really know pinball too well and you happen to see it, you wouldn't know that the topper is an important part of the accessory experience. Like you would almost feel like it's an afterthought, because it felt like the shooter knob and the blades were even more important to the overall gameplay than what the topper is. And
and
obviously, you don't see the topper when you play.
Yeah.
But when it has a mode associated with it, to me, that's a big deal. And that should be highlighted.
And I understand the marketing behind grouping all the accessories. You want to sell, you want to promote your products, but it needed to be the big end grand finale, like spectacle to where you really show it. That's where they met, you know, like it was just odd.
They just needed more hands. The video needed more hands on a pinball machine.
I mean, the only thing I can think of is there are a ton of lighting effects in this thing, like a ton of animations. Whoever spent time, I don't know who's necessarily coding all the light show that's built in that topper, but I applaud you because there are a ton in there. The only thing I can think of is maybe when that was filmed, there weren't many animations. So instead of actually showing it too long, they could only show a tiny bit.
That's very possible. You might be onto something there, Joel. Very possible.
I don't know. But I would say Godzilla. I mean, I'm loving it. If you're on the fence on the topper, feel free to watch either my live stream on Flipping Out or Zach has now made 2 videos. Watch that. But I think if you were already in, I think you will be happy with it. I think maybe it was, we all had these unrealistic expectations of what it could be. Then we were disappointed with what we saw. And now it's very easy to surprise yourself when you actually see it in person.
I kept telling you, Joel, it was not going to actually breathe fire.
Everybody said that, yeah.
And you were so fired up about that.
That's what I was saying about, I had hopes for things that I weren't going to be reality. And that's why it just kind of crushed me, is because I wanted it to breathe fire.
I was hoping for movement, but I will tell you with the turtle head, and then I've heard it also with the Led Zeppelin things, the servos they use for movement are loud.
Yes.
And, you know, with recording the podcast and stuff, like having that in the background, just we've actually told Tom to turn off his Led Zeppelin topper when we record, because you'll hear in the back of the, it's like, I mean, I appreciate your concert experience, Tom, that's going on in your room, but the listeners don't need to hear it. But what else was Stern? Stern, they've moved a bunch of stuff around. We have a game. It's coming, right? There's the next game should theoretically, I think August is the projected thing. And rumors are Venom. And I know both of you guys are Marvel fans. I'm curious, Greg, just because I haven't really talked to you about it. I know Spider-Man's real big for you. I know you own a bunch of comics and whatnot. I mean, is Venom one of those themes that really is getting you going, or what are your thoughts on that?
Especially if it's just done right. Like, and obviously I think they got to go comic book on that one. I mean, I love Tom Hardy. I love those movies, but they're going to go comic book, but I'm pretty excited about it, honestly. And like you said, they don't miss. So that makes it even more appealing to me. Cause I got a whole comic room and I keep a couple pins back there, and so I've got a Deadpool back there right now and an Iron Man. So I'd love to squeeze a Venom in there. Yeah.
And I know my son, once again, 3-year-old son, is upset. He loves Spider-Man. So like this is one of those games where I'm genuinely excited when I have a chance to stream it, because I think he'll really get into it. We do know the next pin. We don't know if it is Venom or not, but we do know the next pin is Zombie Eddie art, Brian Eddy on design, and Dwight on code. That's what we know. That's been confirmed. Gomez mentioned all that in a podcast. So it's got to be comic book art then. It's got to be. And if
it's not a complete miss, it's a guaranteed buy for me. Like, it's guaranteed.
You're in.
Probably premium, most likely, on that one.
Yeah, I'm excited. That is a theme that I'm very much excited for. Very much excited. I mean, Travis, I know your dream theme was Avengers, which you already have, but this would probably be, I don't know, I get it if it was more of a Spider-Man thing. And you said before a theme that would absolutely crush would be if they did a like another Spider-Man Into the Multiverse type of game.
Into the Spider-Verse,
yeah. Like that would be with that type of art style and color. I agree. I think,
and it'd be a huge hit for young people. You know, always trying to get young people and getting more kids and more people into it. That movie is so phenomenal. That series of movies is phenomenal, and kids and adults alike eat it up. So it's like that would be a huge pin.
Yeah, it'd be a top 5 for Stern of all time in sales. There's just no doubt about it.
Yeah.
But when it comes to Venom, though, let's just assume it is Venom. Of course, we don't know for sure, but we're going to make the assumption. It's actually would be coming out at a pretty good time if it came out around the August-September timeframe, because the new Spider-Man video game for PS5 comes out in October. And so the awareness of Spider-Man is going to go up, and Venom is supposed to be featured in that game. Now, it's not going to be the Eddie Brock version, but it's still Venom. So, I mean, it's kind of, the timing is actually coming around to where it would make a lot of sense for it to come out around this time, because then the awareness and people searching for Spider-Man and searching for Venom will go up this fall.
I will tell you, maybe this is just a random thought that I've had, but from an art direction standpoint, Venom he's a black character. Like, I'm very curious if this is really going to be focused on Venom from a color palette standpoint, how Zombie Eddie is going to do that. And all I can think of is like a lot of black, dark blue, dark purples. Like, a lot of pinball machines don't look that way. And I will be honest, I mean, these are both incredible art packages, both Foo Fighters and Godzilla. But when you take a few steps back and look at them, if you squint your eyes a little bit, the color palettes are almost identical. You know, he's got that red, green, yellow color palette figured out. So I think this is going to be a drastic shift for him from a color.
I don't know, man, because if you look at some of the covers of Venom on some of the comics, I mean, they're not necessarily super muted. You know, there's some really colorful, like 90s rendition, you know, that kind of pop. I mean, it's nowhere near what he does now, obviously.
Sure.
You know, super color saturation, rich. But I mean, there are some decent colors to work in there around that particular character.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I think he'll crush it.
It will be weird.
I think he'll crush it. I'm just, somebody had pointed out a lot of times in pinball, you don't see a lot of green, like a lot of heavy green, and you don't see black. Like, and so that's what coming up. I'm like, this is going to be interesting. This is going to be interesting to see how this looks.
Well, I mean, you have to assume that Venom's going to fight villains. Like, Venom's going to be the anti-hero. This. So if you're running under that assumption, then the color scheme is going to be based off them also a little bit. So I'd be shocked if you didn't have Carnage in the game, which is red. So,
bright red. Right up his alley.
Yeah.
Right.
Greg
exactly.
loves red Zombie Eddie games.
That's why I said right up his alley.
So you're going to have some colors in the game. I don't see it being, you know,
I don't think it's going to be dull. I just think it's going to be an interesting challenge.
The way Venom is, too, is most of the comics, like Greg alluded to, it's that the colors around it are the opposite of Venom. Like, they want you to know Venom is Venom. So there's some storylines in which, of course, the colors are black around him or a little bit dark around him, but I don't necessarily see them doing that with the pinball machine, just because you want things to really stand out. And if you have a little bit more colors around, that's just going to make Venom stand out even more when you see him on the playfield or see him in the artwork.
Well, I'm excited. I mean, Brian Eddy, he is a creative. Like, I just feel like he always is pushing for something kind of out of the box, unique. Like, I don't know. I mean, Shadow is still my favorite layout of his, but I'm just curious. I'm really curious to see what he's going to do. And then we know Dwight really does theme integrations well, light shows well. So this is a game I'm genuinely excited about. I'm genuinely looking forward to it. If that ends up being it, I'm really looking forward to it. Sternways, I don't know. Anything else from Stern or news from Stern that you guys want to mention or talk about? No,
that's probably about it.
There's really not much. They're getting ready for their factory move here in a couple of months. So that's, I mean, pretty cool. It's almost like we're just kind of gliding into that. At this point, they're producing the games that they can. So
I will say it's crazy that distributors have Jurassic Park premiums in stock. Like, I don't know if that was ever going to be a thing. I mean, they've sold so well for so many years. And then Iron Maidens, to see people like still getting an Iron Maiden brand new, that I think
are still selling hot. They're still selling hot.
You still enjoying your? I mean, I know you're all in on Jurassic Park, but you still enjoying your Jurassic Park premium? I see right there in the background.
Yeah, I mean, it's actually grown on me. It's taken some time to grow on me. I was still just disgruntled. You know, I was like kind of one of those people. It's like, oh, it's a fantastic game. You know, it's definitely a shooter's game. I mean, there can be some flow, but I mean, it's a shooting game. You get a lot of bricks.
It's a challenge.
It is. It really is. And so, like, I enjoy it, but I wish that they would have still movie themed it more. You know, just being a fan, I was just separate from a lot of other people. You know, I was like all the Star Wars people when Star Wars came out and everybody freaked out over Star Wars. Like, there's nothing in it. It's all so barren and everything. Well, like, I got that, but then the assets are all mixed up. You know, you have a dinosaur from Jurassic World that doesn't even belong in Jurassic Park, and you just got raptors from the third. Like, it was all over the place, and so that was disappointing to me. But no, I mean, I still love the way it shoots, man. It's one of, like, probably my top 5 games. Yeah.
Well, I know it's clear that the theme is a huge part of that, though. Like, it's obviously a huge part of that. And I'm in a similar boat with Turtles. Like, I really do genuinely love Turtles, but the reason Turtles is still here is because it's Turtles.
Yeah.
And I mean, I know, Travis, you've probably seen every square inch of Avengers, but I don't think it'll ever leave your house because it's Avengers, you know. I just, and it's keep going, but you know. So
yeah, I agree. It's why it stays. I mean, you know, it's just, yeah, it's still good, and it's Jurassic Park, and I'm lucky. You can't complain too much when you've got a theme that's literally 30 years old Sunday that they remade again. So like, I'm lucky to have 3 of my favorite
3 Jurassic Park things.
Yeah, so it's like I won't complain about it.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, good. Well, Stern, well done. Keep doing what you're doing. You're doing it really well. Let's transition to JJP. JJP, this is kind of a spoiler for my stream coming up on Wednesday, but Zach dropped off a Godfather LE, so I have Godfather to stream now. 2 things with that. First, he didn't drop it off. A buddy of mine picked it up, but Zach gave me his old Escalera. So Zach got a new Escalera. I now have his Escalera that's probably moved hundreds of pins at this point. The thing is definitely used. It's definitely used. But I will say, now actually physically using an Escalera to move a pin up and down basement stairs, incredible. What an incredible incredible machine. Really is. Yep. If you are a collector and you have a basement and you're one of those people that genuinely is moving games frequently, just save your back and buy an Escalera. I'm not trying to shill it. It really, they work so well. It's the right tool for the job. But
once you learn that balance and you get over that initial fear, it's a game changer. Like, and you don't have, it's just nice to be able to move something without having to call a buddy, call somebody over, go get a neighbor, or wait to move a game until you get somebody over. It's like, okay, immediately I can get that downstairs into my basement and we're good.
Yep. The hardest part was getting it out of the back of the car onto the ground. That was genuinely the hardest part of the whole thing. Getting it, but once you did it, boom, strap it up to the Escalera and all the way down. It's awesome. Once again, unboxing a JJP game is an experience. I just always forget how nice they are. Like, it is, and it's nothing against Stern, but I'm used to unboxing Stern Pros. So when you unbox it, like, this is a limited edition. This is an LE level game. The powder coating, it is just the printing. It's so shiny. It's so nice. The quality, I'm just once again blown away. I felt the same thing when I unboxed Toy Story. They really do make a beautiful pin. They make a beautiful pin. Shout out to Chris Franchi. The artwork on this really is exceptional. And you forget how big that screen is until you turn it on next to a Stern. JJP's doing a whole lot right with their presentation and the overall quality. And I'm impressed. I'm impressed with it. My wife said the same thing when she came down. I mean, it's a beautiful looking game. I'd never seen Godfather. My wife and I actually watched it together earlier this week. Watched it, experienced it. It just had never happened. My takeaway is great movie. It's definitely a theme I would never ask for a pinball machine. But now that I've seen the movie, shout out, props to Eric. The integration of how he's integrated different scenes and different clips into some of the different modes. I mean, genuinely, it's very well done. I would assume if you are a Godfather fan, you are probably very happy with their overall execution of this game. I'm still early on to it. It's a JJP game with Kiefer code. It's a lot of multi-balls, a lot going on all at once, and really trying to understand and decipher the best way to tackle it and work your way through it. I've watched some of Carl D'Angelo on IE Pinball, some of his streams, just really trying to wrap my mind around it, on really the best way to progress through the game. But I don't know. Overall,
there's a lot going on.
Yeah, there's
with
a lot
family's weapons. There's a lot to take in and a lot to explore. Like, that's one thing you can say about it's not a learning curve. It's just an exploration. Like, every 100%. Time you play it, you're picking up something new.
Yep. And Hobbit, when I had Hobbit, was that way. Like, my love of that game grew the longer I had it, because you really start to learn it. GNR was a similar thing. I streamed that and had that for months. And the more and more and more and more you learn about how much is actually going on in that game, it really is incredible. Toy Story was a step back, not in a bad way, but it was a lot easier to digest what you're doing in Toy Story and how to approach it. That was more kind of the way my mind works. That was easy to do and enjoy.
Yeah.
This is back to like, all right, get the notepad out and let's figure this out. But
have you at least found a baseline for it? Like a baseline strategy?
Yeah, I don't really care. I mean, I don't really care about points, but I'm seeing like I understand the multiplier and I get how important that is to build up your weapons. And I don't know, there's a lot there. I'm going to stream it. I'm probably going to have chat tell me all the things I'm doing wrong. And then hopefully JJP's actually reached out. There's a chance that maybe I'll get somebody from JJP either in chat or potentially even to talk about it more. So I want to get one stream under my belt for sure of just, a good solid baseline. But well, I know Tom has one.
You pointed out something right there, Joel, that I think would be important for some of the listeners to hear, though, because how long have you had Godfather?
About a week.
Okay, so if you're not interested in points, what are you generally like? How are you attacking it? Like, what do you want to see, or what shots are you going for, or what do you see that's satisfying to do? What combos? Have you figured that part out yet, or at least have a little bit of an idea?
What's funny is normally when I get a Stern game or any other game, the goal is always, well, how do I get to multi-ball, right? Like that's always usually you're going to be progressing through something and then you get the multi-ball. That's not how JJP rolls. Like you can fall into multi-balls. So I'm not motivated by the multi-ball. It's more just about jobs and getting into a job and realizing that when you're in a job, what each job does and how you can progress through them, because there's kind of a cash out system there, and just kind of feel like I actually understand what I'm doing. And once I know that, then it's easy to like, okay, start the job. Let's start this multi-ball. I do enjoy hitting the guy. Beating them up isn't super satisfying the first two ones, but once they get deeper in the game, you actually have to like flip the flippers and spin the disc and do some stuff. But I will say I do enjoy the layout. Like the layout is very entertaining, and man, those diverters, it surprises me all the time where that ball comes out. Greg, have you played a Godfather at all? Did you?
I've got to play a little bit, and then kind of that initial first when we were filming on it a little bit. But yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with you in the same way. Like it's definitely a journey.
Oh yeah.
Pinball machine, and like you said, the diverters are probably the best part, which Eric designed to be almost a toy within themselves. Just so you didn't know where it is. I know a lot of people don't look at it as being a true toy or anything, but like you said, it can be as fun as it, because you don't know where the hell the balls come from. You don't know what it's going to do every time. So I mean, I like it. It shoots good. There's a lot going on in it. It's just theme is theme.
Okay. Yeah. I'm excited to let it grow on me, but my view, I've kind of had this with every JJP I've stepped up to. Like if I just stepped up to this game in a bar and I put in $1 or $2, like if I only put in 1 or 2 games, there's just so much there. It's hard to, I think it would be hard to grab me. It would be hard to grab me. So I really think JJP does a great job of making kind of a home use only game of like, you're buying this because you're prepared to buckle in and put a lot of games on this, and there's going to be a lot for you to unfold the more and more time you put on it. Yes. While some people on maybe a Stern, where it's like they bring it into their home, and after a week or two of having it, they may see everything that's in the game. And I'm not saying that's shallow. It's just different. It's just a totally different type of ownership. So, Tom, I know owns one. Travis, were you considering getting a Godfather? Because
I was considering it. I mean, the theme doesn't do anything for me, but when I had Eric explain it to me at TPF, the game started making a lot more sense. And I was seeing the shots for what they were, and I was kind of getting an idea of how to flow through the game. And so it's something that's totally different than what is out there for anything else from any other company. So that's interesting to me, just to have something different and not just feel like you're just doing the same progression every single time or even a similar layout. So, I mean, in that regard, that's what's catching my eye. And this, like, if I had the choice, I would get this pin 100 times over, Toy Story and all that. But my vote's still against all the women in the house too. So
are your twins talking to you yet? Are they? No. No.
They'll get over it eventually. I mean, I probably got to take them to Disney World or something at this point. Like, I'm up Schitt's Creek completely.
Watching Carl or watching IU Pinball stream the game, though, it's very much like he knows what he's doing, and he's doing the modes in a very particular order because he wants this and he wants this perk. And then to see him like play, and he's like, all right, I should probably build this a little more. All right, let me use my elbow to hit the 10 times multiplier and then hit this one crazy shot for a gazillion points. I mean, that's the type of complexity that I doubt I will ever get to.
Yeah.
But just knowing that, I do think that's cool for the higher level players to give you that type of challenge.
It's just that risk reward. It's like one of the ultimate like risk reward games. Like how far do you take it?
Yeah. JJP, apparently the collector's editions are on the line, so it'll be cool to see some unboxings there. I mean, I'm telling you, the LE is already a gorgeous game, so I have no doubt the CE, I don't know. I think there will be plenty of collectors that'll be very happy when those show up on their door. I know we talked a little bit about it already. I am curious, Greg, maybe you have some thoughts on it, but Harry Potter, we don't have to go crazy into it. I mean, that's still the rumor. We have no idea how long. It just sounds like JJP has it. We have yet to hear any sort of confirmation on it. But one thing that keeps staying in my head is Stern's smart. Stern is really smart. And if they lost this license, did they lose it or did they pass on it? And my question is, if they passed on it, why? And there's been a lot of discussion. I don't know. We've been talking about this with some people. I mean, Travis and others and whatnot. And if Stern passed on Harry Potter, why? And I don't know. I have some interesting thoughts there. And licensing is obviously a huge part of that, right? You know, like James Bond, they've run into many brick walls with that and the restrictions of that license.
Yes.
So is there a chance that what they learned was the Harry Potter license was going to be so restricting that they didn't want to touch it? Or is there something else? I don't know. Overall thoughts on your...
That's where my mind would go, would obviously be possibly not full assets or not enough assets of what they felt they needed, that it was going to have to be too generic. Or like you said, restrictive. I mean, it was a license that no one thought they were going to get anyways, that any pinball manufacturer would get just because of J.K. Rowling. Like, you know, the way that her stance on everything. So it's like, it's like how.
Oh, he's gone. No, his camera.
No,
goes
I'm
out.
here. I'm here.
Like 5 times.
Sorry, Greg, that Joel is interrupting you here. Joel, be nice to our guest.
Gosh, Joel, man, come on! I was so excited about this.
How did Travis's camera go off? And this is my fault. I'm the one getting yelled at. What? Sorry, keep going, Greg.
No, is it too restrictive? Because did they just not want that battle because there was some stipulations up front that they knew they were going to have to fight? Or did they just have something that set them off in some conversation with the license holder that made them feel they weren't going to be able to do this justice and it was going to maybe backfire on them? But then again, it's like, I don't know, even if it was, that I wouldn't take the risk because it's Harry Potter and you're still going to sell more units than anything else.
Here's my crazy thought, right? Here's my crazy thought. So the rumor was J.K. Rowling doesn't like pinball because she doesn't like bars. She doesn't like that. So what if there was some stipulation of, like, I don't want these in bars? Well, we can't control that, right? We can't control where they're sold. So what could you do to a pinball machine to keep it from being a location game?
Pull the coin mechs.
Pull the coin mechs. So that's my question. What if that is actually the stipulation? Would Stern pass on a license if they're not allowed to have a coin door?
I could see that happen.
And who better makes, like, JJP, it's clear they like making home games. I don't know. It's a crazy thought.
It's a thought that never crossed my mind, but
it's a crazy thought. So my thought is, like, does that bother me? No, I don't. Like, coin doors don't mean anything to me. I don't care. Like, would I still, that doesn't hurt. That doesn't hinder my buying thought. But, like, what does that mean? Like, this is, I don't know anything. I don't know anything. But it's what's been grinding on my head is, why, if maybe Stern did lose it. Maybe this was a whoopsie. But reality is, or my thought is, if Stern passed on it, or if there was something in the licensor that was a barrier for Stern that they couldn't meet eye to eye on, what could that be? And I don't know. It's just a thought that's come to my, like, what if that's the thought? I'm okay with it, but no coin mechs. I don't know.
It is a thought.
It is a thought. So we will see. I don't know what that means. But I think it would create an interesting discussion.
I mean, it's plausible, but I think it would have to be something different from that. I don't know. It would be a weird. I don't know.
I mean, you look at Stern, though. They are all about tournaments. They're all about their Stern Army. They're all about their on location reveals, everything. And if Stern's saying, like, I know this is probably one of the biggest, like, oh, Greg's camera went out. What?
Yes.
This is one of the biggest licenses ever. Yeah. No, my camera's on. Okay. But if that's the view, is like, this is one of the biggest licenses ever. But you know what? We got to hold to our guns. We are dedicated to location play, and sorry, off to the next one. I don't know. But
I think I would just say that there's always a reason.
There's got to be a reason. Yeah.
There's always a reason. And that's all I can say about that topic.
That's okay. There you go. This is all speculation. Yeah. And I don't want to put anybody in a bad spot, but, Greg, you doing all right? Can you hear us? Or did we lose Greg? I think he's here.
I don't know. We'll see. Good thing you can edit this, possibly.
Possibly. Depends on how long and awkward the silence is. Oh, he's
back.
There
he
is. I would say that is not long enough for me to put in the time to edit it out.
We're going to leave it
in. You're good.
You're first good. Other Elgato no signal. I love it.
The first person. Hey. All right. JJP, check. I think we can check that box. Scooby-Doo. So Spooky Pinball. Spooky Pinball is just pumping out games. They're pumping out Scooby-Doo. Props that they're continuing to make them, but what I follow their YouTube channel, and they're continuing to update code. There's more and more code coming out. Greg, you own a Scooby-Doo? You have one in your house? You've played the heck out of it? Go for it.
I've had it since March.
Okay.
I guess I picked it up at the Louisville show. So I admit, because it's another one of those games. I mean, it's like a lot of it's early. It's very early in code. It is a long player, especially for you tournament guys. Definitely, you definitely need to move those posts. That left one, and maybe you can even entirely remove the right post, which frees it up a lot better. I actually like the way it shoots. Like, I don't mind the way it shoots. I think it's not bad at all. Like, I'm not mad at it by any means. Code is just so in its infancy still, like all the basis is there with, your monsters and the modes and stuff that you're going to go through. But it's still kind of in its infancy. And I just, after playing it a lot, it's one of the most gorgeous games I've ever seen. Like, in person, when you have it in your home, it's a statement piece. That's what I always tell everybody. It's like, there is not a game in your house, no matter what collection you have, that looks anything like this game, or that you can even honestly come close to aesthetics, with all the toys, the colored wire forms, just everything with it. It is gorgeous. And it just stands out. But like, I need a little more into it than the modes, like I equate it to something like, I love Deadpool. I still love Deadpool. And Deadpool, like Zach kind of is like, oh, Deadpool, it's just, it's a little too easy. I just push through it and everything. And I get that. But there's so many small moments in there. And there's so many different things like that that's going on that it keeps you interested. You're kind of intrigued. Your Dazzler pops up, or you've got a team up running.
Yep.
Or, you go into Mech Suit Multi-Ball. You've got some of these things that as you progress, you kind of know what to expect. That kind of, I don't know, it gives you something to look forward to. I need a little bit of that in this game. Like, I need something kind of unexpected that I start, some little sub modes or something else that I start other than just trying to progress towards a multi-ball. Which the multi-balls are cool. The locks on the apron is super awesome. Like, I actually really like that. That's really cool. It's innovative. But yeah, I just need
you need a little polish, is what it sounds like. Yeah.
There just needs some filler.
Yeah. So I think that's interesting, because you're almost talking about hurry up modes or potential things that would distract you along the way. And, like, I think Dwight is really good at, Dwight Sullivan is really good at that. He has plenty of those. Some people get really frustrated by hurry up modes because they think they're interrupting what they're trying to do, the bigger picture. But I don't mind being pulled those random directions. I mean, Godzilla, you have a gazillion things all going, or you're working towards a ton of them at the same time.
Yes.
None of them interrupt you, besides like a destruction jackpot. Like, nothing interrupts you, but you're always progressing, and you can divert into whatever you need to get to at any time.
Like side quest, basically.
Yeah.
And that's the key to an excellent code or an excellent rule set. When you have these many side quests that are there that you don't necessarily need to focus on, but can add to your overall progression. But if you want to, you can completely abandon whatever it was you were doing and go to something else. So you never feel in gel. It never feels like a true grind. It never feels like you're hitting a wall. So that's the key to a great code.
when you just have your structured modes and you just have your modes there, then it's just, okay, I'm out of that mode. I'm just going directly into another mode. And that's the only thing you can focus on. Where, and it doesn't, I mean, like you said, a lot of games feel grindy. This doesn't really feel grindy because the modes are so funny. You kind of look forward to going into them. But it does just because there's not like, okay, I'm just looking forward to the next mode.
Sure.
Like, I want to be able to progress in something, an experience, a different experience hit me the further I go along. Which I think they'll get there. Because I mean, I don't know. Halloween is sort of structured the same way, but I love Halloween. I think you guys hate Halloween, don't you?
Yeah, so maybe that's a question. If you had to sell one of those two right now, would you get rid of Scooby? So
I hate to say that.
I know.
No offense to anything, but I love Halloween. Like, I don't know why. Like, something when I first got it, I didn't think I would, but I love the modes in it. It's a little challenging for me. I'm not as good as you guys. It's a little challenging for me to progress through those modes, but it's still doable. And I don't know, man. It's just something. I don't know. I love it.
You love Scoop is what I'm hearing. You love
what?
You love Scoops.
Oh, Halloween. Oh, Scoops.
You just love the ball leaving the playfield and coming up back in your in lane. That's what
I could do away with the hedges over there and those. Like, I could do away with that. Like, that's kind of wasted over there in a sense. But man, I don't know. I like everything. I kind of like the layout because we always complain. You know, tournament. You guys are different being tournament players, but like, I think you always complain for like this different layout, something different. And this game is just different. It's so different, but it's still pretty smooth. It still shoots well. It's, still got really good modes in it. And I think it just maybe deviates for most people just a little too far from that normal fan layout that it messes with them. But I don't know, dude. I love it.
Hey, that's the best part about pinball, right? Everybody can love what they want to love. And there's so many games out there. There's so many different types of games. And, me saying that one game's good and one's bad, my opinion doesn't mean anything. So
well, some games click with people. Like, I always tell people that. I'm like, there's games like Walking Dead. I can kill Walking Dead, and I'm not a real great player, but it fits. Same thing with Godzilla. I can blow up Godzilla. Like, but for some reason, like, just the geometry of that game or the way it feels clicks with me. But then other games that people just dominate, like Batman 66, I can't play a game worth of shit. Like, I'm horrible at it. I'm horrible at it. No matter what strategy I go, I can't. My scores are all low. So it's like some of that I think has to do with, how people like a game too. If it just clicks with you and it feels good in your hands, like you resonate towards that, no matter who likes it or who doesn't.
100%. I mean, I always think of Game of Thrones. Chuck Work, Eric. That guy loves Game of Thrones so much. He made it's like 6 hours of YouTube videos.
The tutorial of that is insane.
Explaining
the tutorial is longer than the series.
Of
Game of Thrones.
Longer than the series.
It's incredible.
But that's something that some people they look at Game of Thrones. I know with George Fisher, Don't Panic Flip streamed it. Like, he could beat the game every single time. Like, it just to him it was too easy of a game. But yet the idea of the way you could tackle it and do it is what kept pulling him in. So it was almost more just like they loved what Dwight did, the Dwight code. They just feel is a masterpiece. And Chuck still thinks like Eric Wartenberg still is like, he still puts Game of Thrones out as one of his all-time favorite greatest games. I've probably put 10 or less games on Game of Thrones. I didn't care for it at all. No,
really?
It just didn't. Nothing.
Shame on you, Joel.
It just didn't. The layout, like, there wasn't anything kinetically that was exciting to me, and the code was so deep that it's just like I don't want to dive into that pool. Like, I don't have the mental capacity to handle that right now.
But you have a godfather.
Well, I did, but that's here. There's a difference. Is when you have a game in your basement and you're not putting quarters in it, and you can just put nothing but time into it, and you can learn it. Maybe I'll backpedal and at the end of the day, Game of Thrones ends up being like one of. Maybe I agree. Maybe I'd be on that.
I would honestly say Game of Thrones is probably my favorite Dwight coded game. Like, I really do enjoy Game of Thrones overall. I don't own one, but I had one on loan for a while a couple of years ago, like right when the new code came out for it, and it was a lot of fun. I put a lot of time on it and really enjoy the game.
Well, you brought up a good point, Joel, that I've talked about before too. Like, there's a huge difference. Like, your mind can completely change when you own a game versus playing it in a tournament or playing it on location, dropping some dollars into it, or at a show. Like, when you own some games in a home environment and just you're able to open them up a little more or just experience, like, I don't know, there's just something different sometimes about it. And I've had it happen in reverse. There's games I've played on location. Yeah. My God, man, I love this. And I get it home and I'm like, why did I get this?
I'm pretty sick of it. And I mean, TNA is another very decisive game like that, where it's divisive. What I don't know. I
divisive.
love divisive.
I will teach you how to speak English.
Thank
Joel.
you for
okay.
yes.
It is.
I love TNA,
I was waiting for somebody else to chime in.
There's only 3 of us.
He hammers me all the time. So this is excellent. Got him.
I said the wrong word. You just say words wrong. Like that's
this isn't about me, Joel. This isn't about me.
So TNA, it's like some people are like, why would anybody love that game? You're doing the same thing over and over 9 times. Like but I mean, I get it. That's what's different. It's a simple layout, but some people, they need all the mechanical mechs. They need the most complex thing ever for them to like a pinball machine. Other people, give me something simple but really challenging. I mean, that's what's great about pinball.
Pinball is very unique, though, that in which it's very much repetition based. You're playing the same modes, you're doing the same layout, and you might see some deviation just from the physical movement of the ball.
Sure.
And that's about it. Otherwise, you're very much getting into the repetition, and we're all creatures of habit. Once you blow up a game, it's very difficult to all of a sudden try a different strategy, because you're like, okay, now I know how to get through to the end part of the game or whatever, and you tend to keep doing that.
You go the same path, yeah.
Right. And so I think having a game at home, it allows you to explore a little bit more. It's very difficult for the majority of pinball players to go out on location and drop quarters into something with the idea that they're going to explore the game for a long period of time. You know, you might do that if you're considering buying it and you just happen to need to do it. But, you know, if I'm playing a game and it's brand new to me, I'm not necessarily thinking about just exploring everything about the game. I just want to know how do I like my modes? How do I get a multi-ball? And then I try to figure things out from there.
It's the tournament.
I think I even had that mindset before I even started playing tournaments. Because it's almost like I want to try out the different shots. Like if I'm at a show, then I don't care about the rules at all. I just want to try out the different shots. I want to see how it feels, how it shoots. And that's really my goal overall if I'm playing a game for the very first time, is to figure that part out. And I can see how that's difficult for a lot of people to do if they're dropping coin drop in to explore a game. And it's just much easier if you get a game at your house and you're not having to worry about it. You can take the glass off, you could hit some switches, you could set your ball to 5 game, or you could set your game to 5 ball or 10 ball, which I actually encourage a lot of people to do. If you're first trying to get used to a game, like why not set it there so you can kind of see some stuff, and you could always just, you know, erase the scores afterwards. But I think that's a good way to kind of explore your pin and get used to the nuances of it early on.
Well, to pull it back to Scooby,
sorry.
No. This is how this show works.
Set your Scoobies to 10 balls.
This is how this show works. We just go where the conversation goes. Scooby, a buddy of mine, Derek, got his, and I had a chance to see his. And I will say, I agree with you. It is a beautiful game. The presentation of the game is exceptional in every way. And I played 2 games real quick when I was over at his house, and I had more fun playing those than I did at the show. I mean, actually hearing the game, it shot a lot better than at the show. So I don't know if that's just like, you know, better, stronger flippers. I don't know. Like the game actually felt kind of fast. The way, like if you're not paying attention on that upper flipper with the bookshelf or the bookcase flipper, that ball goes whizzing by right back to your left flipper. So it's like, okay, this actually has some, you know, this is kind of a unique thing. You got to pay attention here. The upper playfield wasn't nearly as floaty as it felt like in TPF. And it can create some more challenging shots. And I will just say, I mean, the light show is really impressive. And I think they do a good job of making the modes a storytelling type experience, you know, instead of just hit lit shots. It's like, no, you have to do this and then do this. And that's why, and this guy's chasing you and this or that. I mean,
because if you hit these one shots, then it shows up footprints, like, and that's the wrong shot or whatever. You need to track down a picture and all kind. Like it is. That's what I'm saying. The modes are really good. It has some really great aspects. And you know, back to that upper playfield, it's probably one of my favorite upper playfields ever. You know, that bookcase, the way that it interacts and hit that, you know, you just can't necessarily trap up, because if you do, then it's going to knock the ball across the playfield. Which adds a little bit dynamic. And sometimes you have to utilize that, because like during Black Knight, there's a sling up there that you have to hit to engage it. And so it's kind of hard and difficult to gauge and even get enough power off of that to smack that shot and light it. And then even hitting down those ramps, hitting the you know, the little alleys there to go down the ramps it's kind of difficult sometimes. And when you need those shots. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, it's cool. Like theme integration is superb on it. Like, like you said, the way with the clips and everything are amazing.
They have a lot of time left. They're still making them. So that's my only thing with Spooky. My only little concern is like, I don't really know how much time they're putting into Ultraman or Halloween code at this point. I would assume they've moved most of their focus. I know they hired that one guy, so maybe he's still focused on Halloween.
Well, I thought he was going to be focused. I thought they said something, and I'd have to confirm with them, but I thought that they said something that they hired that guy just to keep working on it for like the next year.
Yeah, so I hope they're still chugging away at it because nobody wants that. Nobody, right? I mean, Stern's been accused of that before, and I mean, people still complain about Pirates of the Caribbean with JJP, like it doesn't have the final wizard mode. Well, how many of you have been anywhere near it?
Yeah.
So I hope that gets fleshed out. I'm glad you're enjoying Halloween. My issues with Halloween were the first 4 or 5 versions I played. I just kept getting so many center ramp rejects that I'm like, I can't see the code because I can't shoot the game. So if you have a game that shoots well, that's awesome. I've not experienced that with Scooby. Like at least I'm not experiencing any mechanical issues. So it's like, okay, they've got a solid base here with a unique and creative layout. So if they go nuts with the code and make something that's really enjoyable and fun to explore, and people complain that the multi-ball song was dumb, so they put in a new song that you can change. The fact that they're responding to people, shout out to Bug and Luke.
They're
and
super responsive to people. Since Bug and them took it over, like they've been super responsive. I feel to people. Sometimes maybe too good because they might be listening to the wrong people, but sometimes they're pretty responsive to what people are wanting, what people are looking for, and the criticism people have. I don't think that they take it like a lot of people wouldn't take it as take offense to it. They look at it and go, okay, this is something that maybe we do see too, and we need correcting because enough people are saying it. So let's fix it because we want our games to be the best that they can be. And I think they're solid about that because I mean I'm not hearing too many other than the ease. Like it's just a great family plan. It's one of those things like what you talked about. It's like great that you can put in the house that is still fun for you to play. You might run through it pretty quick, but the entire family, anybody that comes over and get on it and enjoy it. Like.
Yeah.
My only kind of thing mechanical is like the damn ball lock up there with the I don't know if you experienced that, Joel, when you were playing with his, just the time, it's like a double mech up there by that van. Yeah. And it has to shoot, it shoots it up and then it holds it and then another coil has to shoot it out. Yeah. And I wish there was something up there where it was holding a ball and kept a ball up there ready. So you didn't, it's not a killer. I talked about it like when we did first impressions. It's definitely not a killer, but it just
slows it down.
Yeah, I wish there was a little bit of more speed there that I could skip.
Yeah, no, I don't blame you.
See, what I'm hearing here is that this pin is my way back into my twins' lives.
I think that's
what I'm hearing. Yes, it could possibly be.
I think they'd really like it. I have no doubt that my kids would like that game. I have no doubt, but yeah, that's just a never-ending challenge of, are you building your collection? Are you trying to build one for your family? What are you doing? Yes. I don't know. Blah, blah. We know what Travis picks.
Hey, so when my kids start paying the bills, I'll start listening to them more.
Yeah. So yeah, Scooby's, I'm glad that Scooby it seems like it's it's continuing to get better, which is cool because I think some of the issues that I had, at least with Halloween and Ultraman, were things they really can't fix. Mm-hmm. So it just kept going. But I mean, I know I played a version at what was it, Cleepin, that actually played really well, or it was Cincinnati, one of those. So I do know that there are games out there that you can tweak and really
well, and that's what I think. Like we talked at Zach's, I think when we were there for the awards, we had talked about that, about how you kind of hated that center round. I was like, mine shoots perfect. Like, and I guess that's that can definitely affect your thoughts on it. And if you can't really exploit, you're just like, I give up. I'm done.
Oh, 100%. There's so many. I mean, Stern even has games where
I was about to say, it's not just spooky.
No, it's
like the same thing. Yeah. The same thing happened with Avengers and the Captain Marvel ramp, to where people had to make a lot of adjustments to it. So, and then same thing happens with the Rush loop. If it doesn't register, there's a lot of people that are upset about that, and there had to be aftermarket mods for that. So yeah, it's not just a spooky thing. It's definitely it happens across the board. But you guys did hit the nail on the head earlier. What I really like about Spooky is that they are responsive to critiques. They are responsive to feedback, and I think that's a sign of a company that's going the right direction when they're able to do that, and they're able to pivot like that, and they're able to just kind of, it's almost like a live service game nearly, to where they're able to make those changes that appeases the customer base, that, to flesh out the product a little bit more, the item a little bit more. So I think that's definitely a good thing on their part.
Sure.
I think they're always progressing. I think everything they do, they're getting better and better with every single game. Like, I think build quality, like I never had a problem with my Halloween. I got real lucky with my Halloween, I guess, because I know there was just certain fitment issues and different things that would go on. Nothing major with people, but it were still just issues that they had. Maybe more a little bit of quality control stuff, but as far as I know, Spooky was very quick to remedy those and help people. But with this, like, I haven't really heard too many people, other than maybe some lighting issues with the topper. Like, I don't think that there's really been any big problems that I've heard people complain about with this. I think build quality is a lot better, and they've kind of focused on that with this game.
Good on them. And I know it's a whole new board set in there, and people are like, what do you mean? So I haven't heard any issues with that. So it sounds like sounds like things are heading in the right direction, which is awesome. So we'll continue to watch that. And pretty much everybody else is kind of we're in a waiting game, which is surprising. American Pinball with Galactic Tank Force. I didn't expect us to be in a waiting game, but it just doesn't seem like there are many out there. A bunch on location. I mean, they've had to make some fixes. Apparently, they had magnetized balls, which is one of the reasons the lock wasn't working. They've worked on the tank. I don't know. I was so on the hype train for that, just because I love the thought of it. I still love the way the game looks, but I don't know. I don't know where they go from here. I hope.
I'd say just give it a few months, because they're fixing the targets with what it is, and I'm sure the same way the code will mature even more based on the feedback that they get. So I'm interested to see where that game goes in the next couple of months.
Yeah, but I know they got to get them out there, right? I mean,
and I hate to see that they've had issues like, because I felt like that for the most part, there were some tweaks and stuff with Houdini, but for the most part, their games have all been pretty solid, and their manufacturing has been insane. Like, you saw very few Houdinis that ever broke down or you ever had any issues with, man.
Yep.
And in their manufacturing, I mean, they were getting games out. Now, granted, at that time, through Hot Wheels and everything, it wasn't like there was mass, back to when we were first talking about demand and stuff, it's a little better. But they still, to figure out that manufacturing and to get it rolling like they did, I think people don't credit them enough for what they were able to accomplish early on and start getting games out. So, like, I kind of hate to see that this far in that they've kind of come up with some issues and different things that are holding them back for once.
Yeah. Well, I hope once they can get through those issues, they can figure it out, they can make a nice, reliable game, and then they can just continue to flesh out the game. And we'll have to see on that. Apparently, Dave Fix said they're like certain bars. It's out. The Galactic Tank Force is outperforming Foo Fighters. So I don't know. I don't know what bar that is, but yeah, we'll see on that. So that's American. What else we got? Haggis is still chugging right along. Apparently, they're supposed to announce their next game sometime soon, which is interesting because I think they still have a lot of Fathoms left. I could be wrong on that. What else? Oh, there's Punny Factory. We had mentioned that. Hexa, we mentioned that. Pinball Brothers with Queen. Dutch Pinball still making Big Lebowski. I mean, everybody else. CGC. I'll tell you, I'm waiting for an SE Plus. It's weird. I don't like this waiting game, but at the same time, I can't feel bad because there are LE buyers that have been waiting a year and a half, and still, I think we're in the 700s out of 1,250. I think it's 1,250, or maybe it's 1,500. They got a lot. They got a lot more to go.
I just hope they get everything together, because I'm ready for Pulp Fiction, and like that timeline just keeps. Yeah, it's creeping up fast. October seemed forever ago, and now it's like October seems right around the corner. Sort of thing. So, like, I hope that they get it all together.
I don't know professionally what's the smart decision. Do you slow down your Cactus Canyon production and try to do 2 lines and start on Pulp Fiction to help, or do you prioritize the people that have paid money?
I'm pretty sure they have Cactus 2 separate Canyon lines for it. Well, I'm pretty sure they will.
Yeah, I think so.
Which I don't, as an LE buyer of Cactus Canyon,
I'm 90% sure there's going to be 2 separate lines for it, because with them announcing or saying, hey, here's when Pulp Fiction's coming, right? And we see the cadence that Cactus Canyon's coming out now. It's like those 2 timelines are kind of going to intersect each other. And I think the last thing they want to do is start pushing Pulp Fiction like off, because they announced it so early. And the last thing you want to do is that, because then you're running a massive risk, because we know whose next game is coming up pretty soon. And like, why would you want to release anything around that at all?
For the listeners that are scratching their heads, Travis is talking about Keith Elwin's game, which is rumored to be end of the year, like very end of the year, early next year. And I don't think anybody wants to release
like
anything around him.
Why would you? Why would you? It's like trying to go up against an Avengers movie event. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You might win some awards off to the side, but is your box office going to be any good? No, probably not. So that's a little bit tough to do. But here's my worry with pinball with right now, because we're naming off so many different companies and there's so many games.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of curious to see if we're going to hit that saturation point anytime soon. I'm very curious, because it just seems like there's a new manufacturer, and then the current. And then the current
Bob
ones,
Pinball's one.
Yeah, there's so many coming out, and then the current manufacturers, they're actually producing more than one game. Like JJP's trying to up their cadence. American Pinball, they're trying to up their cadence. You just mentioned Haggis doing the same thing. CGC with two separate games. It makes me curious to see where pinball is going to go come this fall. Summer's always a slow time, regardless, because people getting outside. It's just how it is. But I'm very curious to see what happens come quarter 3, quarter 4.
I think we're going to see a lot more of what we currently are seeing, which is very hot and cold. There's going to be games where we are nowhere near meeting demand. And then a lot of games where they just don't sell.
I think at this point, you got to come out with bangers at this point. With Stern with a new facility, they're going to be producing more games. You got to be bringing your best every single time.
Well, the last thing I wanted to chat about was, and I think it's unique because of the two of you, who you are. You guys are both official shills at this point. You both work for pinball companies, right? So you're not allowed to say anything negative, right? Any time that you say something negative, Travis, about a pinball machine, you are keeping food out of your children's mouths.
Oh yeah, we definitely did not say anything negative about the Godzilla Topper.
Nothing negative.
We definitely did not.
Yeah.
See, look, the Stern sniper's getting me right now.
Travis's camera's out. He doesn't want any.
Or it's just the opposite. Like there is no winning in our position, because if you talk too good about something, you're literally just shilling it. You can't like anything. You can't thoroughly enjoy anything, because if you do, you're just trying to sell it. That's all you're doing, is trying to sell that.
Bonus.
You can't have have an opinion on something that may go against the norm, because at that point you're shilling the shit out of it. That you're done.
Just to clarify, the only reason you like Halloween, Greg, is because you have a lot on the shelf and you have to sell them, and that's your responsibility.
We have an entire warehouse full of Halloweens that we just have to move. And
you're about to lose your home because you can't sell them at a discount. Yeah.
So I have to talk about how amazing that hated game is to sell the hell out of them.
Yeah. Please, I have children. No. But being that you now both have seen behind the curtain, I'm curious, what surprises you about that, being on the other side? What weren't you prepared for? And I know, one thing, Travis, I know you've said many, many times, is pinball is way bigger than people assume. To go from just assuming it's the pin side loyalists and a few extra, like you're saying, no, the pinball audience is way bigger than what we can think.
Well, I just go back to this. It's like, how many people out there listening play video games, for instance, right? That may be one of your main hobbies that you do on a near daily basis. Okay. How many expos do you go to for that? How often are you posting online about video games? Probably a lot of people say, well, no, I don't do that. So yeah, I think that the ones that see the expos and they see Facebook and Pinside, that they think that that's everything. And it's not. It's still a section of it. But yeah, there's just a lot of people that know about pinball. Just take Stern Pinball put something up on Facebook the other day where I think it was an actor like Jason Sudeikis from Saturday Night Live and Ted Lasso, and he was talking about pinball on there. And he's been shown to have a few pinball machines. So yeah.
He's a huge JJP fan. That's why, on Ted Lasso, he showed off Wizard of Oz multiple times. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's just much larger. But honestly, it's not that shocked me. What shocks me is just, I think the biggest surprise for me is when you get somebody that's very casual to pinball or brand new, right? You assume that they don't know some things, which is perfectly fine. But then there's just some things that are just so off the wall that you're just like, I don't know how you didn't know that. For instance, we had somebody get a machine and for a week, they were like, it doesn't come on. Okay, you start going through everything. Well, is it the boards? Is it this? Is it that? And you don't want to be condescending and you don't want to be rude and make assumptions. But finally, I was just like, okay, you know where the start button is. Like, oh yeah. And I'm like, is it plugged in? Was not plugged in at all. They didn't even bother putting it there. So I mean, it's just like it happens.
And that's literally what mine was going to be. I took for granted how many new people are in pinball that don't experience pinball. And it's like you said, it's very hard because we're knowledgeable. You don't have to be the most knowledgeable. But to the same thing, I had somebody come in and they were like, oh, this ramp's all screwed up. I need this ramp is messed up. It doesn't work right. Well, all that had happened was the screw came loose on the post and the ramp, the wire guide, it shifted. The metal ramp shifted a little bit. And I was like, all you have to do is put that back over the in lane and tighten that screw down. And they were like, oh, okay, I can do that. And I'm like, if you can work a screwdriver, you're good.
Yeah.
But they were terrified.
The broken rubber calls as well.
Oh yeah.
Like, my flipper rubber broke. What do I do? It's like, stop flipping. Like, don't play it anymore.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, we've had that. We've had some that have had a ball stuck in which it just scared them to death. They take the glass out, and it's those little things that, like Greg said, we take for granted because we're used to it. It's like second nature.
I had somebody with a broken bulb that popped out of a spotlight and it got banged around, didn't work. And I was like, it's a damn bulb. But then again, like if somebody that's new to pinball, they don't have a stock of Comet pinball bulbs or bulbs laying around like most of us do. So, it's one of those things you got to pull it back a little bit and go, okay, if I was brand new, I never owned this thing in my life. Like, what do I do? Because like when the Lost World was my very first machine. I never was into pinball. It's what got me into pinball. Never thought about pinball. And when I got it home, played it for like 2 days, half my GI went out. And I was like, what is this? And, I called the guy I got it from. He kind of talked to me like I was stupid a little bit. Joel, you probably know who it is from your area. And, and he was like, well, did you lift the play or look in the back box? And I was like, there's shit in the back box? Like, what are you talking about? Like, and all it was like a little relay thing. And I had to tap on it. And then, that clicks your GI, you hear it in the older games, like on White Star, it was like click, 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 click. And your GI would flash. Well, that was just stuck. And that's all it was. But I had no idea there was the board set and everything in the back. I thought everything was under the playfield that he had showed me. And, going back, I didn't know how to remove a bulb. First time I had to remove a bulb, I tried to pull it out. And like, I didn't know you had to push down and turn. Yeah. Like I was like, it won't unscrew. I'll just pluck it out. Maybe it's like a wedge, but it wasn't, and I broke the top off and had to get pliers in there. So you go back to those days. Like you just got to think, put yourself in their shoes again back when we all started. But it's fascinating.
I remember when I bought I bought an Avatar pinball machine, and that was the first like real pinball. That was actually I had bought one other one, but it was that was the first one I really bought. And I show up there, and this family had owned it for years, and I remember thinking I'd read everything online. What do you do when you're buying your game? And they're like, well, check the boards on the back. And I remember getting there, and I'm like, crap, how do I get the back glass off? And here I am. I literally pull up my phone and I YouTube like pinball back glass removal. And I was, okay. And then the lockdown bar, though, that they showed in that video had the lever, but this was a stern that had the latches. So I'm like, remove stern lockdown bar, like Googling that. And so I take that off and then slide the glass off. And they're like, I didn't know you could do that, And then I get the key out and take the back. They're like, whoa, they're blown away. It's like, this has been here in your house for 4 years. No idea. And I get that. So you two of you guys deal with that every day.
We've had people call that literally they've left their game off for over a year because it has a ball stuck and they didn't know how to remove the glass. I have no clue how they got a game in their house because and Greg will tell you this. So you'll get calls from people that don't even buy from you. And then they'll just they'll have a lot of questions. So we hear it like everywhere. My most favorite one was somebody had said that their Jurassic Park was malfunctioning. And so their malfunction was, and you guys can suss this out quick, their malfunction was that multiple balls were getting kicked out onto the playfield during the game, not before they plunged, during the game.
So they didn't know there's multi-ball.
They had no idea.
that one may be the best. That may be the best.
Like they were just like, my game malfunctioned. It does. The way they described it, it doesn't happen every game, but sometimes it'll just randomly throw out balls into the playfield, and that's when we finally sussed it out, and they walked us through it. And it's like, sure as shit, Like, you got a multi-ball, bro. Like,
that's
you did good.
Yeah. Excellent. Your game's not broken. You're not broken. Keep playing.
Yeah.
Like, you're fine.
Well, I think the hardest thing though is too, like people that are new to pinball and don't know pinball, they get very frustrated or they think that something is very wrong. It's like, well, I found a couple extra screws in there, or this, I had to adjust this, I had to mess with this. And you try to, it's such a hard thing to try to explain to them this is part of pinball without making them feel that everything is just defective and going to fall apart on them.
Yeah.
So it's that's probably like the toughest thing dealing with that, is just trying to be, educate them on pinball, but at the same time, not scare them away from pinball. Cause you have to adjust stuff on a lot of games.
Sure.
Some games I've got that are perfect. And in some games I've got to pull a few things off, bend a ball guide or do something with it. And, when you go doing something to people that they're not accustomed to, that they buy a car, they expect everything to be perfect. They buy a coffee pot, it works. Pinball is just a little different, or they play, 50 plays on it and something goes awry that they need to fix. Like that's the only like difficult part of it is, walking that tightrope with people.
Yeah. No, that's good to know. I mean, I would assume everybody that's listening to this podcast probably finds the humor in that. Nobody listens to a pinball podcast that probably, well, maybe that's an unfair assumption.
Yeah.
I would assume the majority of people that listen to this podcast know how to do those simple things. And if you don't, there's great tutorial videos on YouTube.
I'll tell you something. And this is what I found a little surprising too, is there are two kinds of people basically in pinball when it comes to something. And this isn't just new pinball people that's never owned a game before. This is some people that I know very well. And there are two kinds of people. When something goes wrong, there's people that jump in and they're immediately ready to try to diagnose it, fix it, get you on the phone, even if you're needing help, because they just don't have the knowledge, but they'll jump in there and work through stuff and find stuff. And then there's the people that just absolutely refuse to touch anything and that you've got to get a tech out to them because they just will not take that initiative to pick up a screwdriver and do the simplest of tasks. And then I had one guy, I don't want to talk about the game just to give too much away, but there was an older gentleman in his 70s that bought a specific game and there was an issue with a bracket and a whole mech. Well, by the time I got that guy back on the phone trying to diagnose what it was, he'd done took it out to his workshop, drilled out holes bigger, did all this stuff, got it working, like figured out, never owned a pinball machine in his life, man. It was already like, I was like, whoa, slow down. Like you can sometimes take it a little too far. Like,
yeah.
But I mean, there's that balance of people. And like I said, sometimes it's pinball people that are, into the hobby quite a bit. But when it comes to actually working or diagnosing something with their game, they're just at a loss and
they're done.
They don't want to jump in. Yeah. They're just terrified to.
Yeah, this would be the wrong hobby in my mind. I think if you own a pinball machine, you either need to learn to fix it or you need to be ready to pay somebody to come fix it. I
agree.
For you because something's gonna break. The ball's gonna get stuck. Your bulb's gonna come out. Yeah. Something's gonna break, and there's a reason why I have a little tool bag that sits under my pin. I think most people do in this hobby have a little toolkit right there.
It's just intimidating for people.
Sure.
Like most stuff is fairly simple, especially with Stearns. Everything running through node boards and everything is pretty damn simple. Most of their mechs are very simple. There's stuff that once you start to really learn it and you get accustomed to that particular manufacturer, the simplicity of, it's not like when you had board sets you need to pull off and resolder a transistor or anything on, on White Stars or anything else or any of the, other games. The spikes in all the modern games, it's either you replace the damn board because the board's bad or it's something else small that a wire popped off or something you can do. I don't know. I'm not terrified. I mean, I guess because I've done most of that for so long, but it's simpler than people think.
A Stern game, you're going to be grabbing a screwdriver before you grab a soldering
anything.
iron. Yeah. A lot of the older games, I agree. It was like switch nut's working. Yep. That old wire, because it's 30 plus years or whatever it is, popped off. Like soldering iron is normally involved, but a newer game, it's going to be a screwdriver. With most
optos and everything else, there's all Molex going to most things. So it's like, you just unplug that. Again, screwdriver, you replace that and plug it back in and you're good to go. It's different.
Yeah. Well, cool. Well, I think that's, I don't know. Was there anything else you guys wanted to mention or talk or no?
I mean, we could go on a full soapbox dealing with the difficult customers if you want us to, but we probably got to keep that one private.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah, I do software support for a living, so it's definitely, there's a lot of that similarity of just did you try clicking that? Did you try restarting that? Did you try this? And then the others where they're like, and it's just like, can you just we can.
Well, and sometimes like because Travis, I don't know if you like for whatever reason, I still can't explain it. Sometimes just reseating a connection, like unplug it, plug it back in, works. And it's probably like a 30% chance that it's going to work. And to tell people that, they think you're ridiculous.
Yeah.
Or, you got to switch this going off somewhere in opto. And you say, okay, I need you to bang around on the playfield. Take your fist, hit the playfield, see what switch. And why am I hitting they will talk to you like you're just the dumbest person in the world because it's so simple. And I think they expect something more. And so, most things are pretty damn simple. We can diagnose pretty quick. Just bear with me.
You just got to remind them what they did with their Nintendos when they were kids. Yeah. We all blew in the cartridge. I'm like, it's basically the equivalent to that at this point.
Well, speaking of plugging things in, we should probably wrap it up and go ahead and do plugs. So, Greg, feel free. Plug away whatever you got. Go for it.
Yeah. Visit Flipping Out Pinball, flip, letter N, outpinball.com. Check out me and Zach on Straight Down the Middle. We're on YouTube. Our Facebook, we do a little bit on, but mainly YouTube. We got a couple of episodes that should be coming out soon. I think we're recording some fresh stuff next week. So that's always exciting and fun. Get a little bit of stuff off my chest and talk about some games even further. Yeah, even after you guys. And then we might have some other big new things coming up that we can't talk about yet.
Awesome. That rubber band collector, right? That's the
big rubber band ball. Yeah.
And for the this incredibly small demographic that we have, if you live in Southern Indiana, reach out to Zach and reach out to Greg and work with him on buying or selling a house, right? Isn't that
definitely. Yes. He's a realtor. If you're in the area. Hey, I've sold and bought a lot of pinball people, and I give great pinball gifts. Just ask anybody. I gave a guy a Hobbit playfield one time that bought a house for me. Like, I give amazing closing gifts to my pinball friends. So not to talk it up too much, but it's I'm pretty generous to my pinball friends when they buy a house.
But I'm assuming you're only licensed in Indiana, or is that?
Yeah, in Indiana. Yeah, Indiana. But I've got great referrals in Kentucky. So if you're in Kentucky,
there we go. All right, awesome. Well, Greg, thank you so much for being on, man.
Thank you guys for having me, man. It was a great time.
I knew you wanted to talk about tournaments, and I'm sorry you couldn't. Yeah.
I know I'm disappointed now.
Travis, plug away, man.
Yeah, you guys can find me right here on the Triple Drain Pinball Podcast with Greg Bone and Tom Graff.
Yeah. And
we've replaced Joel. Congrats, Joel.
Yeah.
He was just too mean.
He's got a good beard. He could do it. Yeah.
He does. Has an excellent beard.
Yeah. I'm Joel. I do the Flipping Out stream every Wednesday night from 10 to midnight Eastern Standard Time. Check us out there. Otherwise, we sold some lunch boxes. So Zazzle.com, if you check that out and go to Triple Drain, we actually sold some lunch boxes. Somebody bought a golf towel. I'm just saying. And what I didn't realize is you can edit the design. And so there was a guy that actually took the design, and by editing the design, you can change products. So he made like a Triple Drain Frisbee. He made you can do whatever you want. So
we have a Triple Drain Frisbee.
I don't have a link to it, but he took one of our designs, edited it, changed the product to a Frisbee, and we have it.
We definitely need to penetrate the Frisbee golf industry.
Yeah, man.
Now it's our chance.
Flying off the
untapped market.
Yeah. So we got some stuff there. Obviously, Silver Ball swag. Check that out. And then thank you to all the Patreon supporters. We really appreciate you guys. We have some stuff in the works with YouTube. So I know currently all these things are on the Pinball Network on the YouTube channel. But believe it or not, we have a Triple Drain YouTube channel. And I think we're going to start doing just some shorts and stuff like that. So if you can't get enough of us, feel free to subscribe to the YouTube channel there for just some additional extra content. But normally Tom gets the last words, but you know what? I think, Greg, I'm going to give them to you. So,
do not put that pressure on me.